In this video, we are going to discuss what is homologous organ, analogous organ, what is divergent evolution and what is convergent evolution. First, we'll discuss what are homologous organs. Homologous organs are examples of convergent evolution or divergent evolution. We always have this confusion on our mind whenever we are solving any kind of questions with respect to the examples. So now I'm going to give you some trick to remember always the homology and analogy. So here is the trick. You can remember that you are watching a video, HD video in a AC room. So you can remember like this. You are watching a HD video in an air-conditioned hall or room. So here the key is H for homologous, D for divergent evolution, and A is for analogous and C for convergent evolution. So now we can come back to the definition. Here you can say that homologous organs I am just denoting as HO. Homologous organs are the examples of what? Examples of convergent or divergent. It is example of HD. So divergent evolution. Homologous organs are example of divergent evolution. Yes. Then comes the next question. What is divergent evolution? To understand what is divergent evolution, first we should know what is homology. Homology. The word homology indicates common ancestor. Common ancestor. Here comes the next question. What is meaning of the word ancestor? See, ancestor is the immediate recent past individual who can be anything. In simple words, I'll tell you who is the ancestor for you. Your ancestor is your father or mother, and their father and mother are the ancestors for them. So you can say your ancestor is your father or mother and your grandparents. Okay, these are all ancestors, means your recent past individual. What is common ancestor? For some group of animals, they should have one common ancestor. Common ancestor means the recent past individual. So here homology indicates common ancestry. So from the word common ancestry, we can use some logic and we can think that common ancestry means the animal is going to share. Some group of animals are going to share the same anatomy. Why I am saying here same anatomy? Why I am saying same anatomy? Because these animals are having one common ancestor. So if they are derived from one ancestor, then obviously their anatomy is going to be same. When the anatomy is same, their functions are different. So here the next word is different functions. Different functions. Same anatomy and different functions. Okay, next, ma'am, they are coming from common ancestor as you said. Then why they have different functions? Because they are living in a different environment and they may develop different traits which is suitable for the particular environment. So now we are going to discuss some examples for homologous organs which is already given in your NCERT but not in a sequential order. Here I have made into a sequential order. You can check this. These are some examples of homologous organs. First is thorns of bougainvillea and tendrils of cucurbitae. So what is thorn? Thorn is some structure which is used for protection and it is a modification of stem. It arises from stem. So this is called thorn. When any of the animal is trying to graze the particular plant, then the plant wants to give some negative feeling to the animal, the predator. So it has developed some kind of thorns to protect itself from the predators and the disturbances. So now thorn is nothing but a modification of stem. Now next you see the tendrils. Tendrils are nothing but some structures developed by the plant to hold itself very strongly and to climb over the distance. This is called tendrils. Now tendril also a modification of stem. So this is called tendril. What is the function of tendril? Support. So here you can see clearly thorns and tendril, they both have the same anatomy, meaning they are the modification of stem, but the function is different. What function is different? Here the thorns are used for protection. Here the thorns are used for protection. The plant will protect itself from the external disturbances, whereas tendrils are used for support. So now this is example for homology, and whether it is convergent evolution or divergent evolution, that is very simple. If you remember the key, you are watching a HD video. So HD means homologous, comes under divergent evolution. Second example, you can see vertebrate, heart and brain. So if you compare the brain and heart of all the vertebrates in the animal kingdom, for example, we will take heart. Heart contains auricle and ventricle. The function is different because we have studied about double circulation and incomplete circulation and complete circulation. The functions are different, but the anatomy is going to be same. That's why it comes under the example of homologous organ. Next, the wings of butterfly and wings of birds. So now we know what is butterfly. Butterfly is an example for insect. And their wings are very light. The weight of the wings is very light. But if you check birds or aves, and their wings will be heavy because the bird wings are made up of bones. And the insect wing is made up of chitin. So here this third statement I have kept to check whether you are aware that whether it is an example for homologous organ or analogous organ. Can you say it is an example for homologous organ or analogous organ? The third statement. You can see the anatomy of butterfly and anatomy of bird is same or different? It is different. Why? Because the insect wing is made up of chitin, whereas the bird's wing is made up of bones. So here the anatomy is different. Entirely it is going to be different. So I am using some different color for your identification. So here anatomy is different. But you clearly know that the function is going to be same. What function? What function? They both are going to use the wings for flying. Now we are going to see what is analogous organ. Analogous organs or examples of convergent evolution or divergent evolution. To remember this, we have the keyword. We are watching a HD video in a AC room. This is the keyword to remember whether analogous organs are examples of divergent evolution or convergent evolution. We are watching a HD video in a AC room. So analogous is examples of convergent evolution. They are example for convergent evolution. Now, whatever we have learned for homologous organ, it's quite bit opposite in case of analogous organ. What we have learned for homologous organ? Homologous organs are the organs which have common ancestor. We know what is ancestor. Your immediate ancestor is your parents. Your father or mother is the ancestor, and your grandfather and the grandmother also your ancestor. So in case of homologous organs or in case of homology, is a condition where there is a common ancestor. In case of analogous, it's bit opposite. So in case of analogous, the ancestor is going to be different. So here, different ancestor. Different ancestor. Okay. So from this, what we can say, if the ancestor is different, then the anatomy is going to be different. Why anatomy will be different? Because the species are totally unrelated. Their ancestors are no more same. So obviously their anatomy also will be different. Anatomy is different, but the functions are same. They perform same functions. For example, we are going to see some example for this condition. First example is flippers of penguin, flippers of penguin and whales. Flippers of penguin and whales. For that, we should know first penguins belongs to which classification? Penguins belongs to which classification? Any idea? Penguins belong to which classification? They are animal or they are bird or they are fishes. What category? Penguins are birds. Penguins are birds. What about whales? What about whales? Whales are mammals. Whales are mammals. They are animals. Okay. Whales are mammals. So here, if you check the ancestor of bird, it's going to be different, and if you check the ancestor of mammals, it's going to be different. But the function is same. What function? They both use their flippers for swimming. They both use the flippers for swimming. Swimming is the function. So here the function is same, but if you check the anatomy of the bird and the mammal, yes, obviously it's going to be different. So this is the first example, flippers of penguins and whales. Then second example. Second example is potato and sweet potato. Potato and sweet potato. Okay, now you answer me. Potato is a modification of what? Sweet potato is modification of what? Potato is a modification of, you can answer loudly, you can answer. Potato is a modification of stem. Is that correct? Yes, very good. Potato is a modification of stem, whereas a sweet potato is a modification of root. Very good. It is a modification of root. So if you see here, the ancestors are different, you know, the stem and root anatomy is going to be different, but their function is same. What is the function here? Storage of food. Storage of food. So now this is example for analogy. This is example for analogy. Analogy means convergent evolution or divergent evolution. Yes, convergent. How you will remember? By remembering the key AC. Okay, analogy is an example for convergent evolution. Now, what is convergent evolution? We are going to see in the next slide. Okay, so here this is the second example. What is the first example we have discussed? Flippers of penguins and whales. Penguins and whales. Okay, penguins and okay, dolphins, I guess. Okay, no problem. Potato and sweet potato. And the third example, is there any other example? Can you say by your own? They will do the same function, but their anatomy will be different. They will perform same function, but if you check the anatomy, that will be different. You say loudly. First, I didn't hear what you said. No, half correct. See, the wings of, you are almost right, but not exactly. Wings of butterfly. Wings of butterfly and birds. Okay. Now, if you check butterfly, butterfly is insect. Okay. Birds are aves. Okay. So, they both are different. Their anatomy is going to be different, but they both use their wings for flying. The function is same, but their anatomy is different. Okay. For example, if you check the wing of the insect, that is made up of chitin. Insect wing is made up of chitin, whereas birds' wings are made up of bones. I have discussed this earlier also. So, this way, by this way, you can classify whether it is homologous or analogous. Okay, next. You can see what is convergent evolution. What is convergent evolution? You can see two unrelated species. Yes, just now we have discussed C means A, analogous. In case of analogous, there is no common ancestor. So, the animals are totally, they are not related to each other. Two unrelated species develop similar traits. What is the meaning of the word trait? Characters. They are going to develop some similar characters. Because, why they are going to develop the similar characters? Because they are living in a similar environment. When they are living in a similar environment, they develop a similar characters. This is called convergent evolution. This is called convergent evolution. Okay, next, what is divergent evolution? Divergent evolution is closely related species. Actually, the species are close relatives to each other, but they acquire variations. They are going to be different from each other because they are moving to different places. They are going to move to different places. In the different places, they are going to develop different characters. They are going to develop different characters. In case of convergent evolution, they are developing similar characters. In case of divergent evolution, they are going to develop what? Different characters according to their environment. Okay, divergent evolution. So, in case of divergent evolution, we can take Darwin's finches. Darwin's finches. So, what is Darwin's finches? Some group of birds are living in an island, Galapagos Island. Here are some 100 birds. For example, let us take some 100 birds are living happily in an island, but there comes a competition for food. There is a competition for food. So, 100 birds cannot compete for the same food. So, now the 100 birds have to migrate to a different places because they face so much of competition for some food. So, now they are going to develop into a different islands. Now, in this island, the food is different, food type 1, and in this island, the food is different, and in this island, food is different. Now, the beak all the birds have is not sufficient to take the food. So, now they are going to develop different types of beaks according to their food. You can see, if you see any bird, you can see their birds very closely. If you see the kingfisher beaks, that beak will be adopted to catch a fish. Yes. And if you check the fruit eating birds, their beaks will be adopted to eat the fruits. If you see some birds which will eat insects, then their beak is adapted to eat the insects. Okay, so this is called divergent evolution. This is called divergent evolution. Did you understand? Yes, okay. So, in this video, we have discussed what is homologous organ, what is analogous organ, what is divergent evolution, and what is convergent evolution.